So what we're trying to do in this question is we're trying to come up with an equation in factored form, which is this form. We're given this table, and I need someone to read the question. Okay, so what's important in the question is they tell us that the maximum height is 30 meters. So in this table, this is height. What is the maximum height of this? 30. Is 30 meters. If this parabola has a maximum value of 30, what do you think this point is referred to as? So we know just from the information given that the vertex of this parabola is located at 60, 30. Okay, so we can plot that point on the grid. So we can plot 60, 30 on the graph. So let's do that. 60, 30 is here. We know this is going to be the highest point of this parabola, and we know that this point here is the vertex. If you know that the vertex is located at 60, 30, what else do you know about this parabola besides that it has a maximum value of 30? What else does this vertex tell you? We know that the vertex is the point where the parabola changes direction, right? So that means that because a parabola is symmetrical, we know the axis of symmetry has to be located at x equals 60. This is an imaginary line that will divide this parabola in half. So let's plot the other points that were given in the table here. So I've plotted the points that were given. I'm going to draw a smooth curve connecting the points that I have. So we have this point here. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to keep going. I know this is the highest point, and I know that the parabola has to come down. We have to figure out where it's going to touch the x-axis. So I want you to look at the graph for a second.
Why is this so wide?
Okay, we know that an axis of symmetry, which in this case is x equals 60, is halfway between what? It's halfway between what? The x-intercepts. Remember yesterday we took the x-intercepts and we found the midpoint to get the axis of symmetry. Well, what's one x-intercept that you can see here? Where does this... Right.
0, 0.
Well, I know that the distance from 0 to 60 is what? 60. And this is half, so it has to go from 60 to 120. Very good. So I know this is where the parabola has to end. So I'm going to continue my curve here. Oops, sorry. Okay? Because we have the axis of symmetry, because we have the vertex, we can figure out the other x-intercept. And does this look symmetrical now? Yeah. The original question said find the equation in factored form. Do we know A, R, or S by looking at this graph? We know that because I can see that this graph intercepts the x-axis at 0 and 120, I can plug that in for R and S, right? R is 0 and S is 120 because we can see that from the graph. And we can also look at that in the table, right? This is an x-intercept because the y value is 0. So let's rewrite this as y equals a x minus 0 bracket x minus 120. But we need to solve for a. Okay, we need to find a in order to complete our equation. Do you know any point on this parabola? Do you have an x and a y, a coordinate?
Yeah.
We have lots. Look at our table. Pick one. Which one do you want to use? Okay, we know that this is a point. All of these are points, so let's use the vertex. If x is 60, y is 30, now we can solve.
120.
We can solve for a. We're trying to find a so that we can complete our equation. We want to know what a is equal to. So just simplify this now. We still need to simplify. What's positive 60 times negative 60?
Negative 120.
Negative 3,600. A. How do I find a? What do I need to do? Divide by
itself, and then you 30
Okay.
divided by
Now,
okay.
I want you to write a in lowest terms as a fraction. It's going to be negative what? In lowest terms, this is negative 1 over 120. This is my a value. Therefore, what's the equation of this parabola in standard form? How do I write this in standard form now that I have,
Y
sorry, factored form.
Y
Now that I have A, R, and S.
1 negative
In factored form, here's our equation. Y equals negative 1 over 120 times x minus 0 times x minus 120.
10 out of 10 right there.
Okay, we are going to put this in standard form now, okay? We can get rid of this take away nothing. Y equals negative 1 over 120. Well, x take away nothing is just x times x minus 120. We need to expand and simplify. So let's expand this first. Let's
Wouldn't that
do,
be x squared?
yes. Okay, I'm going to leave my A. I'm going to leave that for now.
X squared.
X times x.
X squared.
X times negative 120.
Negative 120.
Okay, now I need to distribute A. This times this, because I still need to remove my brackets.
Negative 1.
So negative 1 over 120 times x squared is just negative 1 over 120 x squared. Then we need to multiply negative 1 over 120 times negative 120 over 1, right? It's a fraction. A negative times a negative, I'm just showing you what we're doing here, is positive.
120.
Negative 1 times negative 120 is positive 120.
X.
X over 120 times 1 is 120. How can I simplify this? 1. I could just put x. Cancels out.
Oh, true.
Here is our equation now. We're done
Don't know.
in standard form. And we just came up with an equation in factored form from the graph and in standard form.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.